Hello friends, my name is Claire. Welcome back to my channel. For this week's video, I'm going to be doing a retro futuristic home in The Sims 4. This is a 2-bedroom, 3-bathroom home built in the world of Dulcel Valley, which comes with a lot of retro or mid-century modern items. I'm also going to be using the bowling pack and the city living pack. I might be forgetting other things. I do use the season pack, but if you want a full list of the packs I am using for this video or this build, you can check the description. And while you're down there, if you haven't yet, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. I post new videos every single Tuesday, and I wouldn't want you to miss a video. I do it weekly, and I am 4 subscribers away from 140 subscribers, and that is very crazy to me that there are so many people that like my videos. And we are now in the dining room. We just kind of finished up the entryway, and now we are working on the dining table. I did something different with this video is when I was creating it, I would take screenshots and then I would input those screenshots into Google Gemini and ask for suggestions. I wanted to keep this as accurate as possible with it the mid-century modern style, but I wanted it to be the retro futuristic to kind of justify having a computer in the house or having a TV in the house, like a nice TV. So we are just going to be adding some curtains into this room. I wanted to keep this area very consistent with the colors, and I feel like having it open into the entryway and there being a green doors kind of made sense to kind of bring that green into this room as well. So I was inspired for this video by watching the Fantastic Four movie, and I really liked the future retroness of that movie. So I wanted to implement that into The Sims, and like I just said, it kind of helps justify having a computer or having a nice TV if you're going with a future retro style. So I wanted to give them a nice high-tech refrigerator and stove for that futurism, but the countertops were under the mid-century modern tab. That is another good helpful tool if you are building in The Sims and you want to go for a certain style. They do have style catalogs, and they helps filter few these items. So we are just going to be adding a futuristic trash can. This is actually the money trash can, so your Sims will earn money when they put trash in that can. So we are just going to be adding some decorations on to the counters now, and I wanted to still incorporate that green but just in a different tone. This room is a little bit darker than the bigger area, and so I wanted to go for a little bit of a lighter color. And now you're going to be working on the breakfast nook area. So this home is designed for a family of 4, and you can kind of see I made a little carport area, and I thought it would make sense in the morning, like on a typical day to day, is that the family eats their breakfast around the table, and then one of the parents drives them to work, even though and actually how it works in The Sims is your Sim won't eat breakfast where you tell them to eat breakfast, and having your Sims parents drive them to school is more just like a fantasy. They're just gonna walk out the front door and disappear. and we just go with it. So we are just going to be adding a little plant on the table, but I do replace the plant with a more healthy option for breakfast, and I add a bowl of fruit. And you might be thinking, like, if you have like this like purposeful area for breakfast, why do you have dining chairs or a countertop bar area? And that is for the after school snack. I don't know. This is a big house, and so I was just trying to fill in the space, and I felt like that was just kind of like a fun little thing or like storytelling moment. But now we are in the sunken living room, and this is something that the AI told me is to like have a big glass window with like the sunken living room overlooking a pool, and I really liked that idea. So I do implement that into this video. I do also have a angled fireplace that I feel like helps with the mid-century modern style, and so we are going to be adding one of those nice TVs to go with the futureness of this home. And so now we're going to be trying to add some curtains onto the windows. I wanted there to just be a little bit of privacy, even though I purposely added the floor to ceiling wall detail windows, which I do like. So we are just going to be adding a little bit of privacy at the top, but your Sims can still see into the backyard because it is a sunken living room. And now it's time for the bigger problem of the room is like, what do I put in the middle? And so I ended up putting a little like island of a couch in the middle of this area for your Sims to be a little bit closer to TV, and it kind of separates the space to have different conversation areas. This is definitely a home where your Sims can entertain, have house parties, throw a pool party. So this is my version 1 of the island couch, and then I go for a planter in the middle for my version 2 of this island couch, but you won't see the final version until the screenshot towards the end of the video. I wanted to have like some sort of like coffee table in this room, but it wasn't really working, and so what I did is I took out the skinny part of the couch, and then I replaced it with a coffee table that came with the Get Famous pack for like a little drop zone. I put like a plant on the other side, and I feel like this is just kind of a really cool unexpected moment. So I guess that technically would be my version 4 because this is currently my version 3, and now we are back on the like main level and trying to like figure out what to do with this big open area. I was thinking of it kind of like as like a den almost, just kind of like a nice open conversational area that your Sims can listen to music because of the record player is close, and it just mostly to fill in the space. There's not really any like purpose. This is a big home, and so it's just kind of like what would the guests see as they are invited to your Sims dinner party? They would see a nice little conversational eat moment, but then they would take a sharp turn into the dining room because your guests aren't allowed in the other parts of of the home. I don't know. That was just kind of me trying to justify having this area uh, for the home. But now we are in the sunken living or the sunken office area. The sunken office was kind of inspired by the Brady Bunch office and their home, and so I know that's a set, but I was still inspired, so we are just going to be adding a computer, which I felt was very retro futuristic, and going to be adding a bookshelf. I tried to keep this area very simple. I do also change the floor of this room to be a floor that came with the Get Famous pack. The floor you currently see is from the Strangerville pack, but that was the only item I used for that pack. And so instead of trying to incorporate more Strangerville items, I just switched out the floor. I do try to be intentional about my packs usage when I build because I know not everybody has all of the expansion packs and all the game packs. So I do try to be intentional with my building when I am creating something. Sometimes I do forget, and I'm sorry about that. If you want to play in one of my builds and I don't tell you that I added something, I'm sorry. That's why it's important to check my bio because there are all the packs listed in every video. So we are just going to be adding an elemental table stand. I was imagining that the occupation for one or both of the parents would be like astronaut, scientists, and so I wanted them to have like their own workspace area. And now we are in the half bath for this first level. If you do want to, for some reason, play with laundry day, I have a perfect spot right here in the half bath. There is a nice little alcove that I haven't filled in, and so you can just delete that wall and put a stacked washer and dryer in this bathroom, and then it will be a nice little spot for your Sims to do laundry. You can also rearrange the kitchen. There's another like alcove I didn't use that can be for laundry. It's a little bit bigger. You can have a side-by-side washer and dryer. But now we are on the second level of the home. We're just kind of working on this landing space slash hallway to the bedrooms. And yes, this is the same picture I used in the main entry to the house, but I get rid of the main entryway picture to replace it with a nice mirror. So that was more realistic to have in like the entryway of a home to like make sure you look good before you go or make sure your guests look good before they go. Anyway, I thought that was just like a nice little realistic item to have in an entryway. But now we are in the first bedroom, which is designed for two children. I did try to keep this area pretty neutral when it comes to like gender, and so you can have two Sims up here. I have a desk and I do have a drawing table for your Sims to work on their art skills. I did also just add the art table because that is what was under the mid-century modern tab, and so I knew it was coming from a style that I wanted to achieve. So we are going to have two beds with a single like side table in between of them, and I probably could have done a little bit better rearranging in this space, but I wanted to have a nice little private bedroom area and then like a bigger space for your Sims to like work on their homework, work on their art skills. So you're just going to be trying to figure out a good orientation for this room, and I feel like I came with it at the end, but it took me a second to get there. I didn't like how like dark, moody it was, and so I tried to like liven it up with that bright picture. But when I was looking back, I'm like, you know what? I think I just need to change the wallpaper or the wall detail, and so I go for a lighter version at the end of building this room. Unfortunately, I had this spot after I took the screenshots, and so you won't be able to see the brighter version of the room unless you download it on the Sims 4 gallery. All the information will be down in the description. So we are just going to be adding some lights, and I wanted to add them above the beds because I thought it was like more personal since they are sharing a side table. So we are just going to be adding some a little bit of personalizing on the walls, and so I wanted to like have different things for each side. So I have like art more on one side and I have like book inspired things on the other side. But now we are in the primary bedroom and we'll soon be in the primary bathroom. This bedroom area is nice and warm. It has a nice bright yellow color, and I wanted to just kind of keep this like brightness in this room, and I do add the same like closet system in this room. It came with the get together pack, and the mailbox is actually also from the get together pack, and so that was the only mailbox underneath the mid-century tag, and so I just said, well, I guess I'm using the get together pack, but it has a lot of good items in that pack, so I feel like that could work with this style. So I did try to use that pack very well. And now we're making a little seating area underneath the window. I feel like this is a cute little room for the astronaut or scientist and their spouse. And so we are just going to be finding some items on the for the side tables, and you might not see it now, but during the screenshots I add little rotary phones in the house. I hope that's what they're called, but like the like spinny old fashioned phones, and I put three of them throughout the house. So comment down below with during the screenshots or after the screenshots where three rotary phones were throughout my video. And now we are in the primary bathroom, which is a very large space. It has a separate shower and tub and a separate area for the toilet. So we are just going to be working on the tub area and going to be adding some items next to the sink to keep that nice. I did want to use like a cool sink, so I used the one from the Dream Home Decorator pack, and I felt like it was like felt mid-century futuristic because it was floating. So now we are in the backyard. This is the last area of the build, but there are several areas to this backyard because the lots in the world of Dilsel Valley are all very large, and I wanted to make sure that this lot had a lot going on because I was mentioning that they would be hosting a lot of get togethers, and so we are just going to be adjusting the door slightly so it's a little bit more centered with the couches, and now we're working on a swimming pool area. I don't often put swimming pools in my builds because I just kind of forget. Sometimes it just doesn't fit with the style, but this world of Dosa Valley is based off of California, and I know every other house probably has a swimming pool in it. I can't say that for sure because I have never lived in California, visited many times, and so we are just going to be adding a nice retro pool, and we're going to be working on a little sand pit area for the kids. And I wanted to add this cute little retro spaceship playground item, but I don't end up keeping it because I wanted to add an actual spaceship. And you'll see that during the end of the video, like it being done. And I was going to edit in a video my sim making the spaceship, but it didn't turn out as I wanted, so you'll just have to see the final version at the end. So we are just going to be adding a hot tub, going to be enclosing this hot tub area in. I feel like that did help with like trying to separate different sections of this backyard is to like use the hedges to like make borders for the Sims or for separation. So we're just going to be adding a telescope, and I could have used a small one, but I was thinking if these astronaut scientists is very like high tech, they would want a more legit or a more high tech telescope. And we do move the children's playground area by the hot tub because I wanted to give a little bit of a distinction between the children's play area and the adults like work area. So over here we are going to be adding a rocket ship and going to be adding that legit telescope area. So I wanted to have the rocket ship closer to the house, which I know realistically isn't safe, but it also isn't realistic to have a rocket ship in your backyard, like a functioning rocket ship. So I wanted to have the rocket ship area closer to the home office area so your Sims can easily like go up into space, get some samples, get some like space seeds, and then like grow those space seeds in their backyard because why not? This is The Sims. You can do whatever you want here. And now we're just going to be making a private entrance from the home office to the rocket ship launch area. This is a very last minute addition that I made, but I do like just like kind of the randomness of it, but it does help with that retro futuristicness of this whole entire build. So we are just going to be finishing up the backyard and then going heading into screenshots. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, make sure to give this video a thumbs up on your way out. It really does help my channel grow and I would love to keep growing. So thank you to those who have already subscribed. It means so much to me and I hope to see you all next week for another Sims 4 video. Bye!